Hello and welcome to Wisdom Hour on Friday the 10th. The question I have in today, well, it's more like a statement actually, but I'm presuming she's asking a question because she put it in as a question for Wisdom Hour. And it's about, I have a weird, niggly, intermittent pain under the heel of my right foot. And then she's got, it is not exasperated by exercise, ? So I don't know whether that means, is it exasperated by exercise or it's not exasperated by exercise, or I'm not quite sure what she means by that. So I would ask that people who put in your questions do take a little bit of time to, to make them clear because, I'm doing my best and, just help me out by being clear with your question, all right? So I don't really know what that means. So I'm going to leave that aside and I'm just going to look at, I presume she's wanting to look at what is the cause and what she can do about it, okay? So this goes, we need a goal to know the cause and, that's basically the goal we're going to work on today for you, okay? To know the cause of this weird niggly pain under my foot and what I can do about it. All right, this goal's positive, active, clear, energetic. Give me a yes, give me a no. She's happy for me to work. Oh, God, what's that? Sorry, I don't really know how to turn that off while I'm doing the video. You're just going to have to put up with it. What can you do? Actually, no, you put it on silent. 2 seconds. Oh, Jesus. Go away. Right, that should be better. Okay. So, we want a question, a statement, or we want to work with one. We want a question, we want a statement, an I statement, a you statement. You are getting focused on this heel and this intermittent pain, which only comes occasionally, but when it does, it is really annoying for you, isn't it? That's why you've said it is like a niggling pain. And you are finding something else really annoying in your life at the moment. And this is getting you to get very frustrated, but you don't feel you can do anything about this. Consequently, this internal frustration and niggle, if you like, is expressing itself in your right heel. Why the right heel? Because when you try to do anything about this issue, not the foot, the other issue, you feel like you can't go forward. And because your right leg is your dominant leg, this means that you normally step off on your right leg. It is expressed down this part of the body and in the heel specifically because you are digging your heels in or your heel in about your point of view about this situation. And it doesn't help you that you are doing this. You will help this niggle go away when you address the problem that is really annoying you in your current life. And instead of digging your heels in terms of keeping a perspective that is very one-eyed, instead try and see it from both sides, from your side and the other person's side, and imagine how they are perceiving this and how they experience this issue. Okay. Your heel is expressing that you are putting too much pressure on this part of the body by expecting it to hold your ground, but when you do this and don't move forward with this issue, you place too much strain on this part of the body. This is not muscular strain, nor joint strain, nor tendon. It is, in fact, an energy block you are experiencing, and this is why it comes and goes. When it is something like a torn tendon or stretched ligament, or the muscle has been damaged, the pain will remain usually. Or the pain will remain when you put your foot into a certain position or stand on it, etc. So when we have these pains that randomly come and go, often they are energy related or related to your internal your internal you, why you, child, why you, your eternal, youthful understanding of the world. This means that you get stuck in a perspective that is like a child's perspective. And don't worry, many people do this, and we all can do it at different times, under different stresses, and when different buttons get pushed. So we are not calling you childish, but we are saying this is a common problem. When you see the situation only from your point of view and expect others to understand your point of view, but they don't, and they have their own point of view, and you haven't considered that, or you dismiss it as presently unimportant, or not fair, or whatever. That sounds like the child, or whatever. I'm sorry. No, I'm not actually, because listen, that's what I'm saying. Look, we all have this part of us that will come up sometimes, and don't you worry about that. It's just good to kind of find out when it does and get on top of it, because it can cause us a lot of unnecessary strife and suffering otherwise, when we're in our adult place in the world. Yeah, okay. So, but we need our child. We definitely need our child. It's not like we don't want to be childlike. I think childlike is, if you want to give the two to distinguish between the two. Childlike as being full of wonder, full of enthusiasm, full of motivation, full of, nothing can stop me now, full of, I can make things happen, this is exciting, all that sort of stuff. That's being childlike, and that's part of us that we do need to have on board. And we do want that in our lives. Otherwise, we become very crusty and very old and very boring very fast. So that's all. Whereas being childish, if you want to think of childish, it's kind of like when we're required to step into maybe the more mature part of ourselves that can see things from a bigger perspective, from having more experiences, from understanding that the world doesn't revolve just around us. Then, to be childish is to stay stuck in that child part of just thinking it's just all about us. And that doesn't help, that doesn't help us move forward. Okay, so you are stuck in the child perspective in this particular situation, and when you can get a new perspective on the situation by really imagining you are that other person and imagining what it is like from their point of view, then you will not feel so annoyed about this. And in fact, you may find a way of communicating with this person and practically solving the situation. Okay, anything else about that? When you imagine it from the other person's point of view, you can get their fears and their concerns taken into account as well. And these are important because often it is fear and concern, which is really just sort of fear. Is it? Yeah. That drives people. So, once we understand that the other is not being difficult or trying to be difficult, but in fact they are concerned or they are fearful about something, you can bring your sense of compassion into the situation and get clear that you are not the only one who is having difficulty with this. Once you find this other place to consider the whole issue, you are getting your adult view of the situation, which is more mature and more able to manage communication around it. But if you stay in a place of getting annoyed and not expressing anything, your foot problem will remain. You are able to manage this but it will take a stretch for you, and this is a good stretch because it will help you to develop a part of you which what? Which whether or not you know it, needs to develop for you to be happier and more effective in your life. So thank your foot for this message, and thank the person that you are having the issue with, because they are sent to help you evolve. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else we need to say about that? Not really. Okay, so as I say, I don't know whether that will, really resonate with you or not. I'm always, I suppose, always a little bit worried because I never know who I'm working for and how you'll take it, and whether you'll just go, I don't have any problem with anybody. Jesus, which would be like, oh, sugar. Anyway, I hope it does resonate with you, and I hope it does help. Once again, though, I have to put the little, medical warning in here, and that is if it is, getting worse, if it is really painful, if it, anything like that, or, just get a doctor to have a look at it as well, all right? Because just thinking what other sort of medical things it possibly could be. And as I say, I'm not a doctor, and that's what I'm saying to you, get a medical opinion. But I know, for example, although I would have thought that heel spurs and things like that would normally be when you're putting pressure on it. That's like a growth on the bone, and they can be very painful, and they tend to stay quite painful. But I presume if you were standing on it, that's why I don't know by what you've written whether you're saying it is exacerbated by exercise or it's not, or should I be exercising? I just don't understand that part of your. It's not, it's more of a statement with a question mark. It's not even a question mark. Yeah, okay. So, as I say, I can't help you really with that, because for that, I would suggest you maybe get some medical advice, because you don't want to make anything that is physically there worse. And as I say, just because a thing has been caused by a non-physical situation, like a behavioural or a frustration issue, doesn't mean that the physical symptoms aren't real. And doesn't mean that it doesn't affect your physical systems in reality. It does. So, you need to look at those things from all angles, What else? Yeah, the other thing would just be really practical things, like make sure, if you are running or anything, that you've got good shoes with good padding down there. Make sure there's nothing, this might sound a little crazy, but make sure there's nothing sort of stuck underneath the padding, and that's just maybe poking through occasionally, or anything, you know what I mean? It could just be something as crazy as that. And, well, not crazy, just as simple as that. But I tend to I'm sort of guessing it's probably the thing we talked about. But as I say, look under all the rocks, because you do want to make sure that these things don't get worse, and that if you can solve them, that you do. So if there is any kind of medical situation attached to this, find out, tick it off, cross it off the list, and then you can be happy enough to think more about this behavioural or inner emotional landscape, if you like, and how you manage that. So, as I say, I think always it's a good idea, tick off the medical side of things first. And that, as I say to people, that doesn't necessarily mean, you go in and, you go along with whatever, having your a whole dose of antibiotics or whatever it might be. But it does mean, you can go and you can get an opinion, you can have tests done and things like that. And that's all really valuable information, right? And then, of course, it's your body. So you get to choose what you do next with along with your doctor. Okay, so that's about the niggly intermittent pain under the heel of your right foot. And I hope that you might be able to do a little bit of inner work around this, as was explained so nicely before. I thought it was so straightforward what you can do and how you can start looking at, if there is an issue there with someone else, look at it from their point of view as well. Really imagine you're them and take yourself to that other point of view to see what, if you can understand them a little better rather than just get annoyed and frustrated. Okay, so that's it for today, people. Now, look, I'm just going to say I'm having a bit of problem making it here at 1 o'clock because of either clients or I'm out doing something else and getting back, and I have to be hands-free because I'm muscle testing, so I can't just hold my phone where I am and do it. It's impossible for me to do that. And I also need to really focus. And so these are going up on YouTube, okay? And I think what I'm going to be doing is sort of batches of them. By that I mean I'm going to be doing like 2 or 3 at a time, but separate them, and then I'll sort of post them, on YouTube and on Facebook and what have you. But yeah, I guess what I'm saying to you is if you're putting questions in, just go to the links that I've given you if you want to search them, because it may not be particularly reliable for 1 o'clock, but they'll be there. Eventually I may take them down off Facebook. In fact, eventually I may not be on Facebook at all because I'm feeling a bit about lack of coverage and things like that, and I'm finding YouTube are actually much, much better for people looking me up and things like that. So just so you know, you can always go to my website and they will always be there. That will be permanent. Facebook may not be permanent for me. YouTube, don't know, but my website by rights will always be there, and that's where you can go searching if everything else falls apart. Okay, so have a great day, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'm actually over in London next week, so I'm going to do my best to do a few before I leave and schedule them. But as I say, it's a little bit flexy because I have to have a break like everyone else. Okay, take care, guys. Bye.